Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing European outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for next week, 10 days in detail for Europe, and I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just say about the first video today was the 6 AM upload, and we've got today's bulletin there with all of the regular features coming up for you later on this afternoon. Please like, share, subscribe on videos. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Right, so we'll begin with the situation across Europe today. So we've got a trough of low pressure in the 500 millibar flow sitting across northern and western Europe, bringing a blast of winter to many central, northern and west parts of Europe. Cold air has descended from the north. It's also unsettled across southern parts of Europe with low pressure down there. Mild up the far eastern side of Europe with more of a southerly flow. The upper air temperatures show us up very nicely. Much of northern, central, western Europe sitting under cold upper air temperatures. Over in the east, over in the east, we have got these milder upper air temperatures pushing up from the south through the Balkans towards the Black Sea and northwards into the southwest of Russia. Quite a cool scene down into the Mediterranean as well. So that's how we're set up for precipitation today. Snow across northern parts of Europe in the form of showers. Also a lot of dry weather, of course, up there. Then we've got heavy rain and maybe thunderstorms moving into southern parts of France, northern Spain and Portugal. More heavy showers through the central bowl of the Mediterranean towards Italy. And more of these showers and storms through parts of Greece as well. Going northwards, we've got more rain pushing up towards the Black Sea and into this eastern part of Europe. And so that will turn to snow on the leading edge, for example, across parts of Poland. And then out west, well, wintry showers, really, snow showers through northern parts of the UK and also into parts of Scandinavia as well. Temperatures look like that, so pretty mild in this eastern, southeastern part of Europe. Again, the delayed winter continues there. Otherwise, it's quite a cold scene, really, in many areas, especially northern parts of Europe, Scandinavia, looking bitterly cold, and much of central, northern, western Europe looking quite cold. Even down into the Med, it looks pretty chilly through there, doesn't it? Even into Spain, for example, temperatures are on the cold side. Tomorrow, Friday, looks like that, so still sitting under this cold trough across much of central and northern Europe. Some slightly milder areas just trying to push in towards Ireland and the UK, this little transient ridge building. And then we've got a deep area of low pressure developing down in the Mediterranean around Italy. The temperatures are, well, the upper air temperatures looking like that. So it gets a cold scene across most parts of Europe, just the far eastern portion of Europe looking milder, even down into the Med. Got some pretty cold air pushing through there. And we've got some very wet weather as well through parts of southern and southwestern Italy, and extending back in towards Corsica and Sardinia through this central part of the Med. Some very wet weather indeed, with some strong winds with that. Also, a little bit drier further west through the central or the western part of the Med, like the Balearic Islands of Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and to Spain and Portugal as well. Looking a little bit drier through there, and still some showers over in the eastern portion of the Mediterranean. Further northwards, there could be lots of dry weather on Friday, but there will be some precipitation around the Low Countries, for example. Could get a little bit of rain, sleet and snow and whatnot, and further north, yes, there could be some snow flurries into parts of Norway as well, for example. A very cold day across Scandinavia, again tomorrow, bitterly cold through much of Norway and Sweden, especially further northwards. Finland also looking very cold. The Baltic Sea states, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, they're looking cold too. I mean, cold temperatures do extend down through Portugal into through Poland, through Poland and Germany, and it's been a long, morning, and into France as well. Pretty cold through the UK and Ireland as well. Even into the Mediterranean, looking quite chilly away from that eastern part of the Med tomorrow. Saturday, we'll see high pressure starting to ridge through northern and western parts, going to attempt at the Scandinavian high to get going. Meanwhile, low pressure continues to sit around Italy, pushing eastwards in towards the Adriatic. The upper air temperatures are looking like that. Again, it's a cold scene across most parts of Europe. Just going to be a little bit less cold, perhaps, through Scotland and Ireland, but really most parts of Europe still under that that cold air. Far eastern portion of Europe looks a little bit milder through there. Precipitation wise, again, got heavy showers and thunderstorms extending through the Adriatic into the Balkans as well. So that could start to turn to snow as colder air gets into the mix, perhaps by the time we get into the weekend, especially in more mountainous regions. Meanwhile, further northwest, there's a lot of dry weather on offer on Saturdays. That ridge of high pressure starts to build, though there could be further snow across parts of East Germany and into western Poland. And the temperatures are looking like that. So once more, it's a very cold scene, especially across the northern parts of Europe. But all areas generally looking quite cold. And you'll notice we're getting colder through the Balkans as well, potentially. So I think there is a chance that some of that precipitation will start to turn to snow. The milder temperatures are being squeezed right way out into the far eastern parts of Europe, probably even towards the Middle East. Well, on into Sunday, high pressure again reaching through the north and the west of Europe will keep weather mostly settled. Meanwhile, further south across southern Europe, we still have the influence of that area of low pressure close to Italy. Upper air temperatures not as cold through the north and west of Europe, but not mild, and still pretty cold through these central and western parts of Europe, like France into Germany, and also extending down into the Balkans as well. So becoming colder, perhaps through that southeastern part of Europe. And as far as the precipitation is concerned, again, the wettest of weather will be through the eastern portion of the Mediterranean, anywhere from Corsica, Sardinia, Italy, Malta eastwards. We're going to be finding lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms through there. Mostly dry and about ridge of high pressure elsewhere across Europe. Some patchy rain coming into northern western parts of the UK and Ireland, and there could be some snow flurries into parts of Germany as well. Perhaps on a very cold day on Sunday, despite the upper air temperature not being cold. Under that area of high pressure, we trap the cold on the surface. So most parts of Europe will still be, struggling to get temperature above freezing as we go into the weekend, and particularly cold again across northern and northeastern parts of Europe. Even down to the Mediterranean looks at the very least chilly, if not quite cold, except in that eastern portion of the Med. Monday, once again, dominated by high pressure across many northern, central, western parts of Europe, and low pressure tending to be across southern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures look like that, not too bad, but it will be cold under the high pressure across most parts of Europe, although the UK and Ireland is gradually seeing milder air extending in from off the Atlantic Ocean with time. Further heavy showers, thunderstorms, long spells of rain, sleet and snow through the central and eastern part of the Mediterranean. That will turn increasingly to snow, I think, as it comes northwards into Balkan regions. Some snow coming in from the Norwegian Sea and the Atlantic into parts of Norway. Patchy rain through the UK and Ireland. Elsewhere, again, lots of dry weather and still very cold under that area of high pressure across central, northern, western parts of Europe. Although you will notice that Ireland, particularly, is starting to become milder, and that milder air gradually extending into parts of the UK as well. Looks very cold through central eastern parts of France, especially Germany, and into Poland as well, and especially around those Alpine regions, bitterly cold through there. On into Tuesday, high pressure remains in control across many parts of Europe, although low pressure is beginning to push back into parts of Scandinavia, maybe bringing some snow with it. Further south, low pressure continues through the central part of the Mediterranean. Upper air temperature look like that, generally lifting up across most parts of Europe. Of course, we're under high pressure in many areas, so we won't realise that lift up in the upper air temperatures on the surface. Outbreaks of snow extending in from the Norwegian Sea in towards Norway, in particular, on Tuesday, with some outbreaks of rain into northern parts of Scotland. Further heavy showers, thunderstorms, longer spells of rain through the Mediterranean as well. And the snow probably beginning to ease over into the eastern part of Europe. And the temperatures are looking like that, so cold in many areas, especially under that area of high pressure. Well, maybe less cold across Scandinavia, but remember the price paid for that is snow moving in across parts of Europe. It is milder through the UK and Ireland and into Portugal as well, whereas milder temperatures from off the Atlantic are trying to move eastwards. Wednesday, we'll see low pressure to the north of Scandinavia, bringing another push of colder air in, perhaps from Arctic sources into northern parts of Sweden and also Norway. Otherwise, the high pressure beginning to weaken a little bit on on Friday. Some of it drifting back in towards western parts of Russia and some slipping out into the Atlantic, still with a trough in the Mediterranean. The upper air temperatures look like that, beginning to see another push of colder air starting to come back into the far north of Europe, perhaps. Otherwise, the upper air temperatures not too bad, but certainly chilly down across southern parts of Europe. There will be further heavy showers and thunderstorms, long spells of rain through the Med, and we have this band of snow pushing across Scandinavia, and more snow will be pushing into parts of central and northern Norway as well through the course of the day. Some of that snow will start to head over towards the Baltic Sea states as well. It turns more towards rain as it comes south of Denmark, in towards the Low Countries, UK, and into northern France as well. In between, we have a swathe of dry weather from Spain and Portugal. Up towards the Ukraine and the Black Sea, the temperatures look like that, very cold across northern, northeastern, and central parts of Europe. That cold air perhaps beginning to extend a little bit further eastwards as well. Still relatively milder out across the far west and northwest of Europe. On Friday, high pressure is out in the Atlantic then. Colder air is plunging southwards through northern parts of Europe. So that will start to move down into Central Europe as well. Perhaps the upper air temperatures look like that, so it's becoming colder again across Scandinavia, and those colder upper air temperatures extending down through central and western parts of Europe, even some of it beginning to get back in towards the UK and into eastern parts of France as well, perhaps by the end of Thursday. Down in the Med, quite chilly through the central western part of the Med, a little bit warmer over on the eastern side of the Med. The heavy showers and thunderstorms moving more towards North Africa perhaps on Thursday, but there will still be some showers through there. Further snow likely across northeastern parts of Europe, especially through those Baltic Sea states, extending in towards the Ukraine as well, maybe, with snow back into parts of Scandinavia too. Looking for western parts of Europe, so we've got some outbreaks of rain, snow to all parts of Scotland, and some showery conditions through France and into the Bay of Biscay and northern Spain. Becoming much colder again across Scandinavia on Thursday, and still looking pretty cold for many central and eastern parts of Europe, turning cooler out in the west of Europe as well. France, for example, is becoming colder again, as is some parts of the UK. And then I'll just run you on to a day 10, so that's Friday. So further wet weather in this eastern, southeastern part of Europe, probably quite cold as well, with rain across the east part of the Med, turning to snow further northwards. Meanwhile, out in the western part of Europe, we're dominated by high pressure, keeping things mostly dry, and that dry weather continues into west of Europe as we go into the final weekend of January. The coldest of weather will be across northern, northeastern, and also eastern parts of Europe, where there will be further snow in many places. And that's your European outlook for this week. We'll do it all over again next week, of course. I'm going to be back shortly with today's 14-day, including all of reg features. So come back for that a little bit later on. For this week's European Outlook, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.